Right. Good day today. Change of scenery a little bit. We've been going outside, but we had to go in the indoor today just because of some of the smoke. Had some really good situational practice stuff at the end in the game scenarios that our guys handled well, but certainly some stuff to clean up.
A chance to look back at Saturday scrimmage. Just what were some of the big takeaways and what you've been trying to address and correct the last couple of days?
There was a ton of things, looking back. I mean, ultimately, we want to tackle better. We got to take care of the ball better. A lot of things that I walked away with saying right after the scrimmage still hold true. Situationally, got to play a little bit better situational ball. Red area 2-minute for both sides of the ball. But we have to stop the run better defensively and have to do a better job in those situations offensively.
Have you seen progress over the past couple of weeks as far as conditioning goes? Your guys, where you think they should be at this point in camp?
Yeah, I think they're probably where they need to be. It's something we have to continue to push as we get closer to games.
This true freshman class as a whole, I guess just broadly, what's impressed you, or what's been your take on what they've shown you through 2 weeks or so?
More than anything, probably the eagerness to learn, right? These guys they all operate as professionals. When they get here, they take great notes in meetings. They do the extra when it comes to prehab, rehab, things away from the field. I think that really sticks out. And then we've got a good group of veterans that's trying to grow them along that they're really receptive to.
Kyrie, not just what has he brought to the group, but coming from Alabama, how much of the terminology was similar, if not the same, in some ways, in helping just kind of the adaptation process for him?
Some the same, some different. The fact that he, has been around here, for a period of time now, I think there's been a lot of carryover that's been able to marry for him.
Practically that halfway point of camp, what do you feel like is the area that you guys still have the most room to grow?
I think there's multiple areas. I mean, there's still some more situations we have to hit that we haven't hit yet. But we just got to get better playing football, right? There's a lot of pieces to that puzzle, right? But it's not one thing. You can't pick one thing that we have to fix. We've got to work on everything. We got to get better at tackling. Got to get better at catching the ball, protecting the quarterback. All those things are part of what we're doing moving forward.
A couple of weeks ago, Coach Lord talked about Luke Basso and said he's one of the better long snappers he's ever coached. Have you seen from him this fall now that he's kind of got more of an opportunity with Carson gone?
Yeah, I think just more than anything, he's taking advantage of the opportunity that's in front of him, right? He's getting a chance to be the guy and get consistent snaps, and he's done a really good job of that.
Has Luke Dunn started to separate himself at all at punter?
I think we still have a really strong competition going on there. He kicked well in the scrimmage the other day, did really well, and has been well the last few practices, but there's been a few guys competing there really well.
Just philosophically, how you kind of approach the kick and punt return spot stand, because again, fans kind of freak out. They heard Gonzo takes a rep last year. They lose their minds. Troy, he's too valuable. Don't want to get him hurt. Somebody has to do it, and chances are they're going to be a pretty quick and athletic guy. So just how do you philosophically go about putting the guy out there, but also recognizing that they're probably a pretty valuable player to you?
I think you start with, how are you going to win football games? We don't spend our time reading the message board about what anybody else thinks, right? It's really about how do you win a football game. So whoever's going to go out there that gives us the best opportunity to win a game, that's who we're going to use.
Do you think at all about load management with those guys? If it's like an every down kind of offensive player, maybe considering going with someone else at punter, kick returner, or is it just whoever's the best? We
train for load management, right? So we train with that in mind. But we think that every single player that's a good player for us should be able to start on special teams. If you can't start on special, it doesn't mean you start on 4, right? You should be able to start on special teams for us if you're an elite player.
Going back to the smoke and just the air quality, what's sort of your protocol when addressing something like this? Like we've seen coaches before move practice maybe to the coast or anything like that. What sort of your protocol?
Yeah, I mean, you're audible ready, right? But you have to do it based on what the needs are and what it looks like. Luckily enough for us, we have an indoor that we can use when needed, and we're able to keep that pretty filtered out.
Would you consider, like Ronald just said, maybe going somewhere else that doesn't have these air quality issues, or is it just as simple as you go to
It's based on the situation, right? If we were going to run into a situation where we had 6 days in a row and we couldn't, then yeah, maybe we'd do something different. But
you're understandably taking a pretty critical eye to what you're seeing in scrimmage, what you're seeing in practice every day. What do you like that you've been seeing the last couple of weeks?
Energy, competitive toughness, right? There's the physicality. Our guys are playing physical. But yeah, more than anything, our guys are bringing good juice.
At tight end in particular, what you seeing from Pat and Casey, and just determining who's going to be working most behind Terrence there at tight end.
Yeah, both those guys have proven that they can give us quality snaps. They're going to help us be really good players. They both are playing a high level of ball.
For Nishad, now that you've seen him in a scrimmage setting, more and more practice, just what level of confidence do you have in him to be ready for potentially be a starting guy for
a high level? I got a high level in the shot and everybody else on our offensive line. Again, it's going back to who's above the line, who's not. I think Nishad definitely has the qualities of a guy that can be an above the line player for us, but he has to become more consistent. He has to continue to be more physical at the point of attack. He's had moments of that where he really is, just like every one of our offensive linemen.
This being your second fall camp as the head coach, what have you just learned about this process, and what have you changed from a coaching standpoint?
A little bit of schedule tweaks here and there about where I want our guys to be fresh and when they're fresh. Just some modifications from there. Beyond that, year 2, you have an idea what's going on. So we're just a little bit smoother.
How would you describe the competition at Star right now?
Competitive. Yeah, I describe it as really competitive. I don't know. Again, it's more for me finding how many guys do we feel that can play, not just one guy that can singular play. We want more than one. You never play a season with the same guys out there, all 11 on D, all 11 on O. That changes consistently. So trying to find as many as we can that can be competitive there, and we have a competitive competition.
Do you ever stop cross-training guys? Like you do get to a point of camp or the season where you go, you're going to focus on this spot because this is where we want you, or is that ongoing?
We have focus already, right? But it doesn't mean that you don't know something else. You're not aware of something else.
It's part of that at the star position in particular, Dan, that like before you had more teams in what was the North Division, be more 12 and 13 personnel, maybe more pro style. Now with Washington moving to more open, the Bay Area schools go more open, where outside of Oregon State and Utah, you're probably going to face a lot of 11 and 10 personnel offenses that just preparing defensively, you don't have 2 different playbooks. You have sub and maybe a little bit more.
Well, I mean, I think you still do, right? Because we still play Utah and we still play Oregon State. Like, you have to be able to play them all. So, no, it doesn't – you have to be able to prepare for every offense that you'll see in the league, and we see them all, right? Now, you might see a few more often than others, but doesn't completely change our approach.
Through basically this first half of camp, have you learned anything new about this team?
I don't think so.
At what point in the season do you start going towards game preparation instead of, installing the basics? Are you guys there yet?
No, we're not quite there yet. Again, we still have to focus on us. There's plenty more that we can work on as we get, 2 weeks out. We'll start working some special situations based on opponents we'll see during the season. And then, about 10 days out, we'll start working towards, prep for actual opponents.
What do you hope to see? Last question. Pop up on Saturday in the scrimmage from the first one to the second.
Improvement. Yeah, I just want to see improvement, right? The things that we did well, did we get better at those? And the things we didn't do well, did we improve?